clearly? All right, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, can you see my screen right now? Hopefully, everything is good. Okay, so let's start today's class. As I told you in the notice that I posted on the platform, today's class is totally entitled to prepare for the midterm exam. And I will not cover any key materials right now. Sorry, I will not go through any chapter for today as we have the online class. And it's difficult for you for the interaction. And if we have another choice, we may I will meet you on the next time on the class for the chapter that we need to focus on. However, today I will tell you what materials and what chapters you should focus and the content of the exam. So today we focus on the midterm exam review. Okay. First, let we talk about the format or the form of the midterm exam. The midterm exam will consist of 30 multiple choices questions and two short writing, two short U plus A. That means with two short question answer. The topic we cover, that means the content of the midterm exam. The content of the midterm exam for the MCQ. The MCQ covers 5 different areas that you need to focus. The first one is personality. The second is perception. The next one is attitude. The next one is, let's say, motivation. And motivation in practice. We already covered personality and perception. Today we will go through a little bit through the attitudes. And I will give you the test bank most of the time today. I will let you save time to work as a trial on the test bank. And the questions that you will see in the midterm exam will be taken directly from the test bank that I posted on the Blackboard. Okay. For the short Q and A, we focus on the application of perception and motivation. How you apply what you learn in perception chapter and in the motivation chapter into the practice. That is for the Q&A. And there may be another questions coming directly from attitudes. So you have 3 areas to review for the Q&A. That is the application of perception, motivation, and maybe attitude, maybe into the practice. Okay, so that's all for the midterm exam. And do you have any questions for the midterm exam before we continue? All right, no questions? Okay, good. So we move to the next part of today's class is to talk about the attitudes. That is the content of chapter 3. And before we move to chapter 3, I would like to remind you something related to, just wait for me a minute, related to the model of behavior. Hopefully you still remember that perception impact the attitude and the attitude impact operating behavior, right? We have here is the situation or the environment. Here we have personal factor. And under personal factor, we have personality, all right? We have some other two, but we don't need to care about them at the moment. And we already cover personality. We cover perception. Today, we come to attitude. And we will talk about one type of behavior that most of the researcher loves to focus on to do research about. Okay, now we come to the chapter of attitude. And for the attitudes content, what we will cover is that first we try to understand what the attitude is and how to distinguish between the attitudes and the perceptions. Then we move to the common attitudes at work, and within the common attitudes, among the attitudes at work, we focus on one very important construct, that is the job satisfaction. And you may see some questions in the midterm exam related to the job satisfactions. And finally, I will connect the job satisfaction with the motivation topic. So what is the concept of the attitudes? Actually, the researcher or the scientist define attitudes as the evaluative statement, favorable or unfavorable. That means positive or negative about objects, about people or events. Yeah, they are the objects of the perception process, right? Things, event, people. And your attitude reflect how you feel about the objects of your perception or about something, about someone, about their actions, and even about yourself, even about yourself. And if we follow this definition or this concept, the example of attitudes may be like this: I like you, I dislike you, I love you, uh, I don't like you. Some that there are some statement or some expressions that's showing your attitudes to something. However, many people are difficult to distinguish between attitudes and behavior, and attitudes and perception. And there is a gray area between perception and attitudes. Many times we don't know when we call the attitude and when we call that is perception. And actually, attitudes is the perception combined with your emotions. That means when you say something or you express something with emotion, I say in that you are showing or you are displaying, you are demonstrating your attitudes. For example, uh, when I ask you what is your favorite food, you may say that I like, or for me, eating everything is okay. That's just an expression showing your perception about what kind of food you like. Everything is okay. But someone you say, I extremely like something, just give me a. That means you are showing your emotion. And when you look at the components of attitudes, you can see that the attitudes has three components. That is the affective, the cognitive, and the behavior. And as usually, the cognitive, this is the basic or the foundations of attitudes. And the cognitive, that means perception. Affective is the feeling or emotion. Here is the perception. Here is the emotion. And the perception plus the emotions will give you the behavior intention. Remember, with attitudes, you only can predict the behavior because attitude is not behavior. when someone told you that, when someone tell you that I love you, that means they are showing their attitude to you. Love is an attitude, it's not a behavior. And the only things can help you distinguish between perception and attitude is that whether or not you feel some degree of emotion in the statement or in the expression that people show you when they tell you I love you. That means that just an expression and no attitudes on that. But when someone say to you I really love you, or you can see their behavior that consistent with what they say, that is really an attitude. Okay, so remember the the key components to distinguish between perception and attitudes is emotion. When we talk about attitude, we talk about emotion. And when we talk about perception, we talk about understanding, we talk about beliefs, we talk about norms. Okay, all right, let's continue. Sometime, sometime, or in many cases, you have an attitude toward doing something. That means you love to do something, you like to do something, or you want to express some behavior. However, the situation does not allow you to do so. And so that you will behave not consistent with your attitude or your emotion. For example, just for example, all right, just for example, you don't like to come to my class. That is your attitude. I don't like the class. And if acceptable, if I am allowed, I will stay at home. But just because I have to go to the class, because I need some information about the midterm exam, or the instructor check the attendance, blah blah blah, so that I really don't want to come to the class but I have to go. That is the cognitive dissonance, the incompatibility, inconsistency between your attitudes and your behavior. Your attitude go one way and your behavior go another way. You must behave not consistent with what you really want to do. Okay, that is the cognitive dissonance. And most of the time, people try to maintain the consistency between their behavior and their attitudes, or between the attitudes and their behavior. And if you have to stay in the situation that you cannot behave as you want for a long time, you will have mental or disorder dissonance. That means a sickness or a symptom that will harm your body, physics, health condition. That's the reason why people try to maintain the consistency between attitudes and behavior. Okay, and the inconsistency between attitudes and behavior. That means the case that you have to behave in contrast with what you think or what you like or what you want. That situation we call the cognitive dissonance. All right. And in the slides, you can see very clearly that the attitude predicts the behavior. But whether or not your behavior is consistent with the attitudes depends on a lot of factors. The first factor, whether or not the attitude is important. If the attitude is important, you will try your best to behave accordingly to your attitude. For example, if you really don't like my class and you don't want to enter the class, you find another class is more interesting. You will drop the class. But coming to the class is just normal. Whatever class is the same. So coming to this class and coming to another class, nothing different. So I don't like this class, but I will come. Or this class just normal, just social as other class. Okay, I go. All right. Um, among the moderators, that means the variables or the factor that impact the relationship between the attitudes and the behavior. You should focus on the, let's see, you should focus on, or you should take a look on the presence of the social pressure. The social pressure is the key factor at the time you want to behave, to see whether or not you will behave consistently with your attitudes, your like, your need, your want, your love. And the social pressure you can consider as the situation, the presence of, let's say, your instructor, your parents, your boss. There is a social pressure for you to come to the class. It doesn't matter that you like or you don't like. And there's a social pressure for you to earn the money, to go to find a job, to live as a good person, blah, 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 blah. Let me see. Can you still hear me clearly? Can you all still hear me? Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, and now we move to the next content. That is the major job attitudes at work. Among
Thầy ơi, em không nghe được tiếng của thầy ạ.
tất cả các bạn đều nghe bình thường em, mà em kiểm tra lại cái voice và cái máy của em nha. Everyone can hear me? All right, good. Okay, for the major job attitudes, we can see that we have a job satisfaction, job involvement, psychological empowerment. All of them are just a concept, and you can read the concept by yourself, and it's not very difficult to understand all of them. But among the major job attitudes at work, there is a key construct that we should understand more. That is the job satisfaction. Why is that? First of all, the job satisfaction is the positive feeling. You see, feeling or emotion is the key components of an attitude. Everything you see here, including satisfaction, involvement, let's see something else. Organizational commitment, perceived organization supports employee engagement. All of them, all of them are job attitudes. Okay, and among the job attitudes, the most important one is the job satisfaction. Why is that? Because job satisfaction is the key or the foundation for the other job attitudes to happen or to disappear. If you if your employee feels satisfied with the job, they will have more positive attitudes. And if your employees are not or are not satisfied or are dissatisfied with the job, they will have negative attitude. And the positive attitudes or the positive attitudes will disappear immediately. Okay? So what is job satisfaction? A positive feeling about the job, a positive evaluation about the job, about the working condition, about the supervisor, about the salaries, about the promotion, about the personal development opportunities. That is the concept of job satisfaction. And the job satisfaction can lead to the job involvement, can lead to the job of involvement. That means the more satisfied you are with the job, the more involvement, the more involved you will be to the job. You will contribute more to the job. You will identify with that. You will see the job is important to you. You love to be successful on the job, etc. And if you are satisfied with the job, you are more likely to be committed with the organization. That means you are more likely to stay longer with the organization and you are going to identify the organizations with yourself. You identify yourself with the organization, with its goals, and you try to maintain the membership. That means to stay longer with the organization. And the employees who are committed will be less likely to engage in work withdrawal, even if they are dissatisfied. That means if you are dissatisfied with the job, but you are committed, you are more likely to stay with the organization. But remember, before you are committed, you must be satisfied with the job first. And then after you are satisfied with the job at the beginning and you are committed, later you become dissatisfied. You still don't want to leave the organization for a certain amount of time. And then if you are continue dissatisfied, you will leave the organization. Okay. And the key questions many people usually ask, that is, what the employees will do if they are not satisfied with the job. First, they will reduce the positive attitudes associated with job satisfaction. That means if they are dissatisfied with the job, they will be less involved, less committed with the organization. Less feel that they are supported less. They will engage less to the job and very likely that they will leave the organization. And whether or not whether or not the employee will leave the organization depends on how long how long the emotion or the feeling of dissatisfaction will last. Sometimes the employees feel dissatisfied for a short term, let's say a week or a month, and then the situation improve and they return to satisfy again. And that will solve any problem. associated with the dissatisfaction. Okay, but just take a look on this slide. Those slides talking about the the information of job satisfaction. But here, what the employee respond to dissatisfaction. All right. If they are not satisfied with the job, if they are dissatisfied with the job, first, they may voice. Voice means that they will tell the employer that I am dissatisfied. I am not happy with the job right now, but I will stay here and I suggest that the company should do this, should do that, should do something to improve the situation. That means they contribute a constructive recommendation to improve the situation. And even they may take part in the process to make things better. Okay, that is voice. Another way they may react to the dissatisfaction. Not as good as boy, but not bad. That means they maintain the membership with the organization. They choose to stay with the company without saying something and continue to work, continue to do, to fulfill their responsibility. But for sure, in this case, they are not very engaged and they don't feel excited to work at the company. Okay, that is the constructive active voice, passive loyalty. Okay, destructive, that means negative reaction first and very strong. They leave. Okay, bye bye. So I'm not satisfied with the job here, and I think that another place is better for me. So goodbye. I go. That is destructive. Okay, destructive. And I'm not sure how you think. I'm not sure how you think about the relationship, sorry, the difference between ethics and neglect. And which one you think is more serious and more dangerous to the company? Someone say that ethics is more dangerous and someone says neglect is more dangerous. Neglect means that I stay, but I don't care about the job. I don't do anything. I don't work. I try to avoid working. I leave my responsibility for someone else to carry out. And I am absent. I don't work. I just stay here, receive the salary, maintain the membership, and become irresponsible. I don't work anymore, but I still stay with the organization. And in my opinion, neglect may be more dangerous than ethics. And if you don't like, you go, it's bad. It's good. But if you stay and you have no feeling and you refuse to work to do your responsibility, that is very dangerous for the company. Okay, that is when the employee not satisfied with the job. Now we return a little bit to the question, how about when they are very satisfied with the job or just they have job satisfaction? Here, that's the outcomes of the job satisfaction that many people love to see. Or no, not many people, just the employer love to see. Okay, that is the job performance. Happy workers are more likely to be productive workers. Satisfied workers are more likely to be productive workers. Okay, OCB, that is organizational citizenship behavior. The behaviors that you conduct as a member or a citizen of the organizations. The behavior that benefits the organization and you intentionally do it, you are willing to do that without any asking for paying back or more compensation. Okay. Customer satisfaction, life satisfaction are some other outcomes of the satisfaction the satisfaction situation or condition. So in general, sacrifice lead to satisfied employee produce positive outcomes. And this satisfied employee may lead to the four different responses here, like voice, saying something, recommend something to improve situation, loyalty, staying but not saying anything, still doing the job, exit, get out, leaving, finding an organization to work. And finally, neglect, staying, not working, receiving salary. Okay, that's all for the chapter of attitudes. And as I told you, today I want to say the time for you to work and to prepare on the test, on the midterm exam, so that log in, log into the blackboard. Let me see, just a second, and I will show you what to do. All right, now log into your blackboard and you will see in the content section, you have the perception review. I just posted the material on here, perception review. Now take time to work on that. In a few minutes, I will continue posting the attitude review for you on the blackboard. So take today time at any time you are free. And the best case that take your time right now to work on that. By tomorrow morning, I will post the review with answer key on the blackboard for you. Okay. So today you have two test bank you need to focus on. The test bank on, the review on perception, review on perception, and review on attitude that I am going to post on the blackboard in the next few minutes. Work on the two reviews. All right, I will talk to you later. Come on. Just focus on the two reviews files that I posted on the Blackboard from now on, and save your time. Tomorrow you will have the answer key. Remember, the next class, I will cover motivation and motivation in practice. And after that, I will post the test bank for you again for motivation and motivation in practice. And you will have enough time to prepare for the midterm exam. Okay, so that's all for today's class, and you are free to go. But please take time to work on the review materials that I posted on the Blackboard. Okay, that's enough for an online class, and that's good for us on the progress that we prepare for the midterm exam. You have any questions or any comments before I let you go to enjoy a morning with the online class? Any questions? All right, let me see what you want to ask me. Today's class is to prepare for the midterm exam and it should not be officially posted on the blackboard. Just focus on the materials that I posted on the blackboard, the review, read the textbook, and if you have any questions, just contact me. Contact me at any time if you need help. The question is easy and the content of the lecture. Chapter, let's see, chapter 3, attitude, is not very difficult to understand. All right. Oh, when do you get the results from the quiz? Let me see. In the coming class next week. So when I see you in the class for the next Tuesday, I will return you the quiz results. All right, one more thing before you leave. Please ask all of you come to the class for the next class before the midterm exam because we will have another quiz. Okay, we have 2 quizzes before the midterm exam and 2 quizzes after the midterm exam. All right, anything else that you need to ask me before you go? Okay, if you have no question, you can go right now. Wish all of you a very nice day, a very nice week. Another question is very important. The exam is closed and you are not allowed to bring anything into the class or into the exam room. So be sure to review and learn by your memory. Okay, that is the closed exam. And the decision of the closed or open exam is made by Dr. Mai Ngọc Khương, not me. And he followed the school policy. So remember, no book, no notes, nothing. That is a closed exam. Welcome you. All right, you are free to go. Nice day, everyone. Enjoy your day. See you next week. Or you have a nice day.